So call the meeting to order of the Code Enforcement Board for the town of Lake Clark Shores. Time is 6:33. Emily, would you please call the roll?
Paul Hughes,
Present.
Ariel Hernandez,
Present.
Gerard Sanchez,
Present.
Robert Gonzalez, Deb Moody,
Present.
Debbie Gregorian, Wesley Cook.
Present.
I'll take a second to welcome Wes, our newest member to the Code Board.
Thank you. I'll do the oath.
I understand you're a regular attendee.
I have been, yes. Yeah.
Many years.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service or your future service anyhow.
Thank you.
We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Our next item of business would be Mr. Cook getting sworn in by the town's attorney.
Okay, if you could please stand, I'll just read the oath to you, and if you could repeat after me.
Okay.
I, and state your name,
Wesley Cook,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and the state of Florida,
and the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties
that I will well and faithfully perform the duties
of Code Enforcement Board member of the town of Lake Clark Shores,
of Code Enforcement Board member of the town of Lake Clark Shores,
Florida, on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
Okay, so help me God.
So help me God.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
The next item on our agenda is an appointment of the vice chairman of the board. Mr. Ben Hartman unfortunately had to resign. He was the board's vice chairman and he's no longer a resident of Lake Clark Shores. So our position is now open. Is there a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Sanchez.
Okay.
Do you accept that nomination, Mr.?
I accept.
Okay.
Be honored.
Anyone else?
I'd be open to do it, serving as well as a chair. So I don't know if I'm self-nominating or what.
Okay, well, any discussion? Is there a motion? Oh, did you make a motion?
I made a motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. The motion is for Mr. Sanchez to serve as the new vice chairman of the Code Enforcement Board. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Next item of business is approval of the tonight's board meeting agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
A second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 No one's opposed. Okay, thank you. The consent agenda. It includes the approval of the minutes for our January 26th meeting, any unfinished cases now in compliance, and any new cases now in compliance. Officer Fisher, do we have any cases that are on the agenda that are now in compliance?
Yes, there was one that Yuli was checking on. Did she, Emily?
Yeah, she told me that the permit was submitted today.
Okay, so then it's not. All right, on page 2, the very last case 22-0051, Elisa and Dirk Giannotti, that property is placed into compliance. And the other 2 are not, and just for the record, if we could hear case 22-0050, Mr. Shear is here. So that way he
Okay,
doesn't have to listen to the other one.
okay, okay. All right, well, these are all new cases tonight. I guess we don't have any old cases that we'll be looking at, so if there's no objection, we'll hear case 22-0050.
We need a motion first.
What
I'll
did I,
make the motion.
I'll second it.
For the consent agenda.
For
Oh.
the consent agenda.
thank you. Okay. Dana, would you like to give us some information on
Yes.
the case?
While on routine patrol on January 26th of 2022, I noticed the trellis built on the side of the house at 8060.
Let me
West
just stop there.
Drive.
We haven't sworn any witnesses.
Oh,
Where was that?
Whoops.
Did I miss that?
no, no, no.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Oh,
Just
geez.
skipping around,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, and disclosure of visit.
Yeah.
So they just have to listen to my stuff and then, yep, you can give whatever you would like, no problem.
So anyone that's going to speak tonight before
would be us.
the board meeting, if you would please stand and be sworn in by the town's attorney.
Okay.
Could-
You gotta stand.
Could you stand, please? And
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you will give me the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you. Okay.
thank you.
All right, did we skip anything else?
No, Yeah.
Paul.
Hopefully I haven't skipped anything else. I'm just trying to get done. I'm just trying to get through this quickly. I'm hungry. Okay, Dana?
I just had noticed the trellis built on the side of the house. I checked with Melissa, there was no permit, so a violation for section 10-91A was issued. Very short period of time, I was contacted by Mr. Shear. I don't even know if I'm saying your name. Shear. So it is very simple. Shear, sorry. He contacted me right away. He had told me he would get that taken care of, especially because he was going to be building a little more on it. So some time went by, no permit was obtained. Therefore, when I was doing the hearing notices on January 14th of 2022 at 10:55 a.m., I posted the notice for today's hearing for the same violation on the front door. Within probably hours, Melissa was contacted about the permit, and I want to say within like the next day or so, he did disclose that they weren't feeling well in the family, and he kind of just had forgotten about it. But he did come in right away and fill out some paperwork. There were some missing documents and some back and forth, and he submitted it to Melissa, I think all completed today, so it's just waiting for review.
Okay, I have a couple of questions.
Mhm.
In the picture, is the slatted part the trellis or is the whole thing
The trellis is higher than the fence.
right?
And then there's the structure on top of it. He built it, so he can explain it. It's like an orchid house.
Okay,
I have an interior picture that was
okay.
ready.
Mr. Shear, would you like to come up and
Yeah.
and tell us what happened and where you are with getting the permit?
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me.
Mhm.
Not that I want to be here, but I'm an orchid lover. I've been waiting my whole life to build this, and I built this to code. I built this with love and something to beautify my yard with my family. It's a passion of mine, and I built it not thinking I would need a permit. My family and I actually came down with the flu. We were about bedridden for 3 days, and that's shortly after. I was still waiting for the NOA, and that's when I got all my paperwork finalized and brought it in. The reason it was only submitted today is actually I had sent it last Wednesday. There was obviously some type of hiccup in the email. I have proof of that. And I made sure Melissa got everything today, and I also followed up with Dana to make sure I was in compliance. So I've submitted all my paperwork for a permit. I'll bring this up to you just so you can kind of understand. This is the interior.
Oh, okay, nice.
Thank you. A lot of love and passion for my grandfather that it was a replica of his. So I built that and everything's cemented. You know, I also have in there, I did a little computer sketch. Everything's strapped, everything's up to hurricane code. I booked everything, concrete, cemented all the posts, just to make sure that, you know, wood's not cheap nowadays. So
Right.
want to make sure everything's in compliance and
How close is that to your property line? I'm just curious.
roughly about 4 feet.
That might be a problem. Although I'm not on the zoning board or anything like that, but
Well, the one thing I want to keep in mind here, this is strictly for plants. You know, this isn't a pergola. This isn't a tiki hut. I'm not entertaining people in there. That's simply a place for my wife and I to hang our orchids and plants
sure.
and enjoy. You know, I'm in, you know, good communication with my neighbor Jose and Sandy to the, you know, west of me or south of me in this property, south of me in this picture. You know,
Yeah, one of the reasons you need a permit is the inspection and we worry about, you know, we're in a hurricane zone here and if one would to come along, what's the chances of flying debris and those kind of things? So,
I completely understand. And as you can see in that sketch, I cemented all four my 4x4s 3 feet down by 2 feet with cement. And then I also have hurricane straps. I'm a local realtor. I sell in Lake Clark, West Palm Beach. So I know what hurricane compliance means because if you can't pass inspection, you can't get a mortgage and life goes on. So I actually have the NOA for the hurricane straps I used for all the exterior top part. I have the wood, also the NOA for the wood, and then a sketch of exactly what I built and how I built the whole structure. I don't think it's going anywhere personally. I think there's a lot of concrete and
so Mr. Shear, Emily, as far as you know, Mr. Shear has filed all the documents that he needs to file to get the permit?
Yeah, that's what Yuli told me. The permit was submitted. That's all I know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, as I'd mentioned, I had sent Melissa an email last Wednesday. I re-forwarded it to her today with all the paperwork. I don't know if it got sent to junk or what, but I do have proof that I was working diligently to get this done and comply with the town. And I'd like to finish it and beautify it, truthfully. I'm happy to pay for a permit. I built the, you know, I did the little sketch so you guys could see exactly how it was built, so you would understand. And I mean, I had my inspector that does, you know, I'm under contract for another property in Lake Clark Shores right now. And he actually came and checked it out and, you know, everything's up to code, you know, on that end. And
Mr. Shear, is this for us?
I brought it just so you could understand what I had built.
Is it for us to keep?
Yeah, you're more than,
want it-
you're more than welcome to.
Okay, is there a
We
motion?
don't have to, but
Is there a motion to
I'll offer the motion to submit the photos as part of documentation or
Yeah, I had submitted that same package with Melissa. I just wanted to bring it here tonight so you guys could see what I did and could understand exactly what I built.
Okay.
You
Is
can
this-
take it back if you'd like. You
No,
don't
he
have to
said he
leave it
has,
with
he
us.
They're
submitted,
just PDFs. I have them.
Okay.
is there a second to?
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, well, it appears to me that at this point, you're not in compliance because you built this without a permit, which is not to say that you won't be in compliance after the permit and inspection and all that kind of stuff. Is there any further discussion?
No,
You ready to make a motion, anyone?
yeah.
The violation is the building of without the permit, right? It's not that. Okay.
Right, he just has to get a permit, which is in process.
Okay. Yeah. So it seems like that's it. Okay. That's a fact, I guess.
For
All right.
making a motion that carry on this to the next case and see if it passes permit, or how fast is that done? That we get an
Usually
answer?
Lake Clark's pretty quick. It could be 5 days, but sometimes it could be 2 weeks. It just depends on the load. But Emily, we have to postpone the meeting for March.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
I should have
cancel.
announced that the next meeting, unfortunately, is going to
April?
be postponed. And our next meeting is going to be in April.
Okay.
April.
He'll probably be
March,
closed out by then.
April 27th.
But
If it be closed.
aren't these kind of like two separate things though? Aren't we conflating a little bit? Like it's, you know, he built without a permit. He's admitting that and in his testimony. And so, oh, here it is. Yeah, it's Charles on the side without a building permit. He's filing for a permit.
Which doesn't mean he'll get it.
Right,
So as of today, okay,
right.
There's no permit.
there's no permit.
Right. And still,
So that means he's not in compliance.
right, I agree.
Okay.
Agree.
So Jerry, were you going to make a motion?
I was gonna make a motion to,
You can make it when we decide whether we support it or not. Just
Yeah.
make it.
I make a motion that, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 22-0051, I move that this board find the respondent in violation of section 28, I'm sorry, I don't have it, 20,
It's 1091. It's case 220050.
okay. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Thank you, Sabby.
Section
1091
A.
A
Mhm.
of the town code ordinance, I move that the respondent be ordered to correct the violation on or before, I guess, the board meeting in April,
Mhm.
April 27th?
April 27th.
April 27th. Fail to comply with this order, a fine in the amount of $50 will be imposed, may or may not be imposed.
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
I have a question. Is the fine $50 total or $50 a day?
Per day until,
That wasn't in the motion, that's all.
yes, yeah, he did say that.
I didn't hear that.
Everybody to get, if you like, I'll
I heard $50.
$50, it'll be $50 a day.
Okay.
May or will be imposed for each reoccurrence of the violation.
Oh.
So the bottom line is, you know, our biggest concern is we just want it corrected, obviously meet the town code and permit, and obviously create an urgency in getting it taken care of, which you're obviously is showing. I would have done this till March, so hopefully everything turns out well with the town for you. And then, you know, now they're, you know, till April, so, but hopefully you'll have everything that's corrected or whatever you'll need be. But the biggest thing is on your part, just putting everything to meet the town ordinance
Of course.
on your building.
Can we ask Emily? I'm sorry. I was just gonna
Debbie, I
ask
think
Emily
you-
to repeat the motion for us.
I have had a question though, and since you mentioned that it's within 4 feet of your property line.
Yes, ma'am.
If the permitting department, building department has a problem with that and needs to go for a variance, how often does that board meet and could,
I think it's monthly.
No,
No.
it's every other month.
Oh, every other month. Works.
Yeah.
So when's the next one for that?
I think, no, I'm not sure.
Okay,
Well,
I think it might be in May.
So
wow.
you stated a fine may be imposed,
Yeah,
will be imposed. You said maybe.
May,
Okay. So,
Can we
you want me to
confirm?
read it again?
yes.
You could revisit it in April.
Right.
And if he needs a variance and there hasn't been a chance to get heard, you could extend the time for compliance. Might be the way to go.
well, my thought was that not to wait until April to apply for that variance, but to move forward and get on the agenda and be able to come here to the April meeting and tell us that you have a case number and you are on the agenda to be heard by the zoning board.
Yeah, but if the zoning board isn't till May,
But
Yeah.
I'm guessing that in advance of that meeting, they have to get on the agenda.
oh, yes, yeah, he
So I
should be.
wouldn't want to wait until after the April meeting and
Yes.
still had not made arrangements to get on
Yeah.
the agenda.
Is
Yeah.
there, Emily, Dana, is there someone he can speak to about having a structure like that within 4 feet of the property line? And does he need to speak to that person
So
in our,
The process would be to wait till his permit gets denied. If
okay,
it gets denied, and it could be, then everybody always has an option to go to the zoning board. That doesn't mean that you'll be guaranteed that you can keep it.
the permit could be denied.
Right. But he'll know,
Big-
he'll know that like ASAP, and then he can get, his
Because-
application in for the zoning board to see if he can keep it. If.
Not
that does happen.
necessarily because of the structure, but because of where it's located.
Yes,
Okay,
because he might be in the setback.
so maybe that should be part of the motion.
But he could also move it, there's a bunch of other, if that's what it comes to, there's other options that he has, and he has time where he can get that application in. And I know when you apply to go to the zoning board, you'll get on the agenda, rather quickly. They don't just.
So basically what we're saying, Mr. Shearer, is that you need to get the permit approved.
Yes, sir.
If it's not approved, then you need to do whatever you need to do to get it approved. And we're going to, the way the motion stated, we're going to review this on April 27th.
Okay. And may I ask if there's any variance, or is it, who's with zoning here?
That's a separate board
So
for the
zoning
town?
has a board just like here, and you submit your application to what your reasoning is to needing the variance, and then the board reviews it, and you'll come to a meeting and they'll vote, whether to keep it or not.
Well, it's a recommendation. Ultimately, it's the town council that makes the decision.
Oh,
So
that's right.
at the next town council meeting following the zoning board meeting, then they would make a decision.
It looks like the next zoning board meeting is March 16th.
Right, but there's not going to be enough time to apply for that. So usually I
That's
think
only-
we
So
need
ultimately
usually
you
the
just said-
documents a month in advance.
Ultimately,
we
you
need
just
to-
said you guys are in control of approving it or denying it.
Sorry, what?
You said it was up to the board, essentially, if
The
they could approve or deny it,
The
correct?
zoning board makes a recommendation to either approve it or deny it to the council, and then the council make the ultimate decision.
To town council.
Yeah, the
Okay.
town
Which would be
council.
In the June council
So,
meeting.
yeah, it would be in June.
And is there anything stating in the Lake Clark Shores town that an orchid trellis or an orchid arbor cannot be built like this? Or is this
It would probably read about structures and setbacks and anything that you build. But just keep in mind, most of the people end up deciding just to take them down. I don't know why they don't ask for variances. You're always given the opportunity. But you also, if they say that you can't keep it, you can also move it. You have other options.
I'd rather pay for the permit and give it to the town than move it and hide it from you guys. Just being truthful. I know how I'm a realtor and I see all sorts of stuff walking into properties. I would hate to see it go. It was expensive and there's a lot of love and passion behind it. But I guess April 27th we'll know. Is that the date?
So
You'll know about your permit
Yeah.
way before that, and then
Right.
you can figure out what your options are and
As far
decide on what it's whatever you decide. It's up to you.
Basically, you're just going to be coming April 27th, letting us where your standing status, because you might be waiting for the variance, but what we want to know is what's going on with it, what's the next step, and that, being diligent in doing everything that's needed. on this.
Ariel, do you still need the motion restated?
I think we have it. I think it's been,
Okay.
I'm just,
Are you guys ready to vote?
Yeah.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
I,
Let's see, that's two
Well-
out of four.
But didn't you second the motion, Ariel?
Ariel
yeah,
seconded it.
But now you're opposing it?
yeah. I supported a
He-
discussing it,
He can do that, I think,
understanding it,
according to Robert.
processing it, and
So do we need a second?
But
All right.
was there, who did the motion? Was,
I did the motion.
and you seconded?
I seconded it.
Okay, and then you voted
Discussed
no,
it.
which you can do, which you can do.
Right.
Okay, so how was the vote?
Well, and I vote yes, so that's,
4.
that's
3.
3 to 4.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I almost don't see it. in there.
It's 4-1.
4-1.
I shouldn't have
4
voted.
to 1,
that
it passes.
because It wasn't necessary.
Do we need a?
Okay, so the motion carries. Mr. Shear, you have a little work to do, I guess, to get your permit, see what the inspector says. Hopefully, you don't have a problem with your inspection and getting your permit. But if you do, then you're going to have to deal with potential for a waiver and
Variance.
a variance, yeah.
Okay.
But anyhow, so we'll be addressing this again on April 27th. Hopefully, it's all taken care of for you by then.
Well, I'd like it to be, there's no reason to drag it out. I think it's something beautiful. I'm gonna cover it in vines, if it comes to that.
Yeah, it looks
And,
nice.
I have a lot
Oh,
of
but-
butterfly plants growing around it. It's gonna be something that's gonna bring a lot of pleasure, my family, but hopefully we can get it there.
So maybe
Yeah.
your neighbor, doesn't have a problem with it, but maybe next year you'll have a new neighbor and they'll question why it's there and did you get a variance? And
Well, I was told it wasn't my neighbor, but who knows? I'll confront him.
okay,
So your neighbor did not complain.
I was told,
I don't know. I saw it driving by. And then when I came in and inquired about it, she said, oh, I've gotten several phone calls about that specific, if there was a permit.
and.
But I
and-
don't know, they
and-
weren't, there was no complaint.
And that was Melissa, correct?
Yeah, she had just mentioned it when I checked. I was driving by and I was like, oh, that's new.
And she
So
started.
nobody complained. I don't want you to.
No, Melissa started the conversation with, wow, you must have some really fantastic neighbors because it wasn't any of your neighbors directly around you that submitted this. But I mean, of course, I'll confront,
Oh.
Melissa started the conversation with that,
Okay.
stating that it
Well,
wasn't the neighbors.
I noticed it on routine patrol.
Of
So
course,
That's
no.
all.
so thank you,
And
Mr.
when I
Chair.
inquired it,
Yeah, of
so
course.
We're gonna move
I
on
can't
with
say
our
that
meeting.
anyone did to me.
I completely understand. Everyone's out for it.
Thank you for coming
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen.
and talking with us.
Ladies, congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you.
The
Good luck.
next,
Keep in touch.
the next case is case,
Just communicate with me for the meetings. Like if you get your permit, we'll know and then that's it. You don't come here.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your.
Have a good evening.
Thank
the
you.
next case is 220049. Milagro Jimenez, trustee for Milagro Jimenez Living Trust. The complaint is dead tree in front yard. Dana? do you-
While on routine patrol, January 26, 2022, I issued the property located at 1520 Langford Drive for having a dead tree in the front yard, section 26-199, as well as section 26-21. It was mailed and placed on the front door. I've had zero communication. Therefore, when issuing notices on February 14th of 2022 at 10:35 a.m., I posted today's hearing notice on the front door. Still never had any contact, and there's the tree as of 11:34 this morning.
I'm sorry, when did you first post that?
The very first notice was January 26th.
Good. Discussion?
Do we know, anybody know this residence? I mean, are they even there in the
They
home?
live there, the car moves.
The car, okay,
The car moves all the time, the newspaper gets. picked
gotcha.
up.
That's. Um,
And many, many years ago, there was another tree there and that one got taken care of, so I don't know why.
All right, well, they're
Maybe they
I
don't
think
think
that was
it's
when the
dead.
mom, when maybe the mom was alive.
obviously they're not in compliance.
All right.
Someone like to make a motion?
Yeah. I'll make a motion, so, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 22-0049, I, move that this board find the respondent in violation of section 26-199, subsection 2621, dead tree, for having a dead tree in the front yard. And that the respondent be ordered to correct the violation on or before the April 27th meeting, or a fine of $25 a day will be imposed.
Will be, or maybe? You want to, it's up,
May be imposed, so.
maybe. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right. That would bring us to the board comments, suggestions, and updates.
Don't we have one more? Oh, that one's in compliance, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Any comments? Anybody?
No?
No?
I was just curious, and I should have probably asked, but that trellis, Dana, are they gonna paint it white or are they gonna keep it just the wood color? If it all passes legal and everything else, I was just curious.
I'm not sure. But he also put in his permit, it was 4 feet tall.
Really?
Really?
Okay, well, it's not 4 feet tall.
Well, that alone is
It's like
gonna,
9, 10 feet tall.
Yeah, it's above the,
Defense.
Let's
Yeah.
try to,
for that reason alone, it'll get
let's try
rejected.
not to talk about
Yes.
the previous case.
hopefully it's resolved by that time.
I hope so.
Whatever he's gonna have to do, doesn't,
Any further general comments?
No?
No? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
a motion, to adjourn?
I'll second.
Motion moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'll vote with it.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Who wants to stay here? Come on, Ariel, where's vacation?
So when are
So,
when are the elections?
in just a few weeks.
March 8th.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily want to make it part of the formal